We're back live, Verbal Pick Radio, where we give a verbal image of everyday life, just everyday people. Got Low Key back in the house tonight, and we talking about a very important issue. We mourning the death of Dr. Sebi, who died August 6, 2016, and it was stated that he was arrested for having over $30,000 on his possession. Some reports was he was in Mexico. Other reports were he was in Honduras. But he died while in police custody, which has mysterious surroundings around the fact that he died. Especially, we know he was one of the leading holistic healers on the planet. So until further investigation, a lot of people is wondering what was all the aspect of him perishing in that manner, being arrested, 37,000, and one of the leading holistic healers dead while in police custody. We have some questions that we want answered, but we want to get into the life of Dr. Sebi and what he meant to so many of us. We know that he personally worked with Left Eye from TLC in Honduras, and she would make the trips to visit Dr. Sebi. But a person who has met Dr. Sebi personally is on the show, and you know him, Houston's own, a native Houstonian. Brother Low Key is in the house. How you doing today, Brother Low Key?
What's going on, Brother Cole Black?
Oh, man, it's all good, man. I mean, if anybody was to talk on this subject, and you know you have people who've heard of a person's work and their contributions, but this is a gentleman who actually spoke and met Dr. Sebi. So the energy will be a little different when you actually meet someone. You also meet their energy. So he's been in that position. But as far as Dr. Sebi, Brother Low Key, what can you tell us about the character of the person?
Right. Well, just for the record, I actually didn't get a chance to, talk to the brother. And the only reason being is because when I was at the lecture, they was trying to shut it down. They were saying that, time was up, and Dr. Sebi was like, nah, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep pushing. He's going to continue to teach. That was his stance until they make us get up out of here. Mm-hmm. And the line was so long after he got through with the lecture, he was giving each person as much time as they needed to talk. If it was 30 minutes, if it was one person, then he was giving that person time. So unfortunately, I had to, go to my 9 to 5, and I had to leave, but I would have stayed there as long, however many hours I needed to talk to the brother. But just the fact, just those type of things just let me know that he was a trill one, and his energy on stage, when he was speaking, and he was just a real. When he was honest, he was candid. He talked about how since he was a teenager, he partook of the marijuana, and to that day, he's in his 80s when I saw him, and he was saying to this day, I'm still on it, and he said it's gonna be for life, and this is the most strict holistic, doctor that I've learned from. So for him, to say something like that, then, you do your research on hemp, and, you'll find out, what it can do, what it could do for you, health-wise, and the many countless uses of hemp and how it's been used for so many years.
Healing properties.
Right.
And whatnot.
Right.
Now, as far as his basic, we not taking any calls right now. But we'll get to the phone as we progress, as we build the show. But as far as and I know the alkaline, as in food, what is that basis? What is that about?
Well, we're electric people, so he was promoting electric food, alkaline food, alkaline water.
So wait, are you saying we give off electricity?
Yes,
Okay.
we give off electricity, and you have on a pH scale, you have neutral to acidic.
Okay.
So the foods that he was promoting, from him is really how I got on the almond milk and how I got on the spring water. He recommended Perrier water and or Zarka water as if you don't have a Perrier water, get those Zarka spring water as an alternative. And, I bear witness that I haven't gotten sick for years. And this is coming from someone who is cold-natured and who had a history of getting sick whenever the weather changed. But once I started studying, Dr. Sebi's information and learning about health and adding in the spiritual aspect, I haven't been sick for years, period. Not even close.
Yeah. So we got a living witness, a proof of the effects and the works of Dr. Sebi, that it actually works. A lot of people, they would call him the celebrity doctor, and he would work with a lot of people. But what would you say as far as holistic healing versus the pharmaceutical industry of the pills versus healing yourself holistically? What would you say from experiencing both sides is beneficial and why?
Okay. The pharmaceutical drug industry that has been put in place by Europeans, also known as white people, and their institutions is where they give you a drug that it can cure the symptoms, but it can't actually cure the disease.
Okay.
So it can sustain you, and then in cases, if you get off of the drug, just like any other drug, then your body will react to it, and it can have an adverse effect on your body because it has become accustomed to that drug sustaining it.
Okay.
At that poor level that the drug, since it's not curing you, it's only keeping you at a certain level of just being able to continue to function.
Right.
Now what the Dr. Sebi brought to the table is actually cures, to where once you actually get into the natural methods of curing, coming from nature, which we always, our ancestors utilized when we were, building pyramids and things that to this day that science can't duplicate.
Right.
No science on the planet can duplicate it, not just the pyramids, but many, many wonders of the world, countless wonders of the world that can't be duplicated by science to this day. We use nature in order to cure and get rid of these things for life.
And when you say nature, are you talking about, are you saying plants, herbs, the whole process of nature? And the reason why I'm asking that question is if we're electric body, and then plants or herbs are alive, and they say chlorophyll or whatever, then that's it's more than just diet. Is it the energy that we sustain from these plants goes into our body, and does that help us spiritually and help our mind think better?
Right. Well, one thing is that our body is made up of all natural elements, just in separated form. Mm-hmm. So when we take these things in, we're taking things that are already part of our constitution.
Right. Okay.
So these things that when you take in unnatural foods and these processed and the Monsanto and all these artificial foods, then it actually it's in adverse to our constitution, to our bodies. So when we put natural things into it, we're actually bringing back what is already a part of our constitution so that we can function at a high level.
Yeah, that's wonderful, brother. And I did hear in some of Dr. Sebi's lectures, man, he mentioned how to eat to live. He talked about back in the day, or he would give credit to those who was trying to put black people on a path to eating right or being more healthy, because we know that back in those times that that wasn't at the forefront, let's say, for the majority of the household. The certain things to eat, like we were against no swine, and we had no proof of that these type of foods that were catered towards black people, let's say they deemed it soul food and chitlins, and we start learning later years heart disease, high blood pressure, headaches, and for someone to love the people as a race, to love them enough to say, hey, I want to study these plants, and I want to study the alkaline, and I want to study the electricity and things within the body to help heal the people, because we had lost our diet, during the period of being in America and in slavery, and what we were left to eat. We got off the path of our diet, and you got to give homage to the brothers who would go out there and put their life on the line to give you a proper diet and things to eat to sustain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So another question I like to ask is, and I'm still on this electricity and alkaline, and I understand the water, but is there a particular type of food that he stayed on, that he wanted to drive a point home across, that, out of all your diets, if you focus or if you eat this food, you can heal yourself, because he was known to cure cancer, AIDS as well, right?
Right.
Cancer.
Right.
With
any
food.
disease.
Any disease. So is it more green leafy vegetables, or is it, what is the basis of it?
Well, I would say, because I've studied his meal plan, and there's so many things that he has on there, so I can't say it's one particular thing. I think his website is drsebi'sproducts.com, but you can Google Dr. Sebi and you can find his official website and get his meal plan on there, and which was something where I actually, just to add this piece of how he influenced me, is that my father has diabetes, so I studied Dr. Sebi's information, I put together a binder, and I printed everything out and, studied it thoroughly, more than once, many times, and put it into a binder and put on a presentation in front of my father and his wife.
That's wonderful, bro.
And gave him that binder so he could have that, like a little book, as a reference point for that particular information. And, I advise, our people to do the same for those loved ones, because we all got people in our family that are going through these particular things, and it don't take nothing to take that time out and put something together just so they can have that point of reference.
Right. So what I'm understanding is everything that we need to sustain our life is right here on this planet.
That's a fact. That's just common sense.
Okay. and the thing is what's blocking the connection?
I want to add this piece, a couple of things that Dr. Sebi said. He said that if you have a high enough iron content, then you won't get sick. He also said that the basis for all disease is mucus. So what I've come to understand about mucus is that you have slow vibrations, or you have bacteria in your body, and it gets encapsulated with the mucus. Okay. And when you have the more bacteria, the more mucus buildup you have, and you have to get it out of your body. So Dr. Sebi would give herbs and remedies in order to get that mucus up out of your body, which the bacteria goes with it.
Right, okay, and that prolongs life.
Exactly.
You won't be suffering from certain type of ailments.
Exactly.
But always, man, when the great has passed on, even though we know that what God creates is infinite, but when that physical presence is not here, the good thing about it is he at the mark that he made on society will go on through time, through history. You can read about him. You can go to his website, check him out. Is there anything you'd like to add, Brother Low-Key, before we close out the show?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, from me being in the presence, man, let me tell you, Dr. Sebi, you know, when he was on stage, he was climbing back up on the stage, and you know, the brother was helping him up, and he was like, "Watch out, brother, I got it." And he started running in place like he was T.I., man. He was up there, he was